fighting. This is the only time we fight all year.
This has to do with the Bears, no doubt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Eagles play the Bears next Monday night.
Is that a Monday night game?
I believe so. It's either Sunday or Monday. I believe it's Monday. I think they made that announcement last night. It was Monday.
Wow, 2 Monday night games in a row.
Ooh.
How about that? Boy, did they dismantle the Dallas Cowboys last night or what?
Yes, but that was Sunday night.
Oh, you're right, Sunday night.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. We are right at the top of the hour. Area code 520. Good morning. And 503. 503. That's Oregon, is it not? All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. And what I'm going to do is a little bit of, I'm going to mute the call. So, Dennis, I see you. And
conference muted.
Okay, there we go. And I'm going to turn off. Okay, well, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Club. Let me give you a little quick background. The Breakfast Club was started almost 15 years ago, and the purpose was to get together. I'll just put it in layman's terms. It was to get together with like-minded people, like-minded business people, and to discuss and help each other with money-making strategies. And sometimes it was conventional business, and people would come ask questions. You know, we spend time in training. Well, how do we do this? What about marketing? We would bring marketing people on, and it wasn't with any specific company. Then we changed, and we did have a specific company, and then, you know, as the years went by, you know, a lot of us got to know each other, and last year when KB Gold became available, you know, Dennis and I talked about, let's make the Breakfast Club specifically for KB Gold. We thought it was a great idea. The concept is phenomenal. It's right for the economy. It's right for the people. It's the right time, and let's teach people, you know, the right thing to build a business from home, you know, with KB Gold. So that's how we got here, and it's been a long time. Dennis has been with me for a lot of this ride, so what our job really here is for all of us is to help one another to build a business at home. And I mean, we use that term loosely, build a business. What does it really mean? I mean, what it really means is that you have over time, over the past, 20, 30 years, we've had the opportunity to not have to depend on an employer or a conventional business, and whereby we could establish a business at home. And by the way, it's well over 50% of all homes in the U.S. are operating some kind of home business. And, it doesn't mean that it's a network marketing business, but it's some type of home business. People's doing stuff on eBay now and Craigslist and selling things. And so there's all kinds of things going on at home now for the home business people. And it's half the homes now are doing that. And so our job really was to share our experiences with one another to say, how do we do that? What does it mean to build it? Well, yeah, you can have a conventional business where you can work from home. The difficulty that I find, Dennis, working from home is to motivate yourself to do what you're supposed to do, and then finding out, what am I really supposed to do? And then break that down into little pieces and get things accomplished that help you build the business. So what's it really mean? Here's what has to happen. In business, all of business, you have to make sure that product and service moves to the consumer. From the manufacturer, it has to get to the consumer. And then on the way, money changes hands. And you and I get the opportunity here to cause it to happen, therefore getting in the middle of the transaction and then getting a piece of the pie. And it's as simple as that. I mean, it can't be explained any more simple than that, in my opinion. And so how do we do that? Whether it's a nutritional company or whether it's gold, how do we get in the middle of the transaction? Here's how you do it. First of all, you register with a company like KB Gold. You make a purchase with gold so that you are part of the process. in order for money to move or you to get paid, you've got to get in the middle of the transaction, be part of the transaction. Here, you don't get paid for your own purchases, but the good thing about this company is that the minute you purchase gold, the value of gold historically has gone up, so therefore you make money on the purchase. Now, that's not an absolute in-stone fact, but the fact is that gold has gone up since the beginning of accumulating gold and introducing gold as a form of payment. And it's been thousands of years, so the price of it goes up. So therefore, we do gain when we do that, but you can't guarantee somebody that. But you do. It's one of the few, maybe the only industry that by registering with a company and making a purchase, you actually increase your assets. So the second part of it is you make the purchase, and then you introduce the company, the concept, by way of material, whether it's a phone call, a three-way call, a recording, a website, an email, and you expose people to it and find an interested person like yourself who said, yeah, that sounds like a good concept. I think it would be great for me to own gold as well, and maybe I could find a few others. It's about, we've heard this many times, the law of large numbers. But the truth is that to complete that sentence, it really should be in the shortest period of time. If you did this over 20 years, you probably wouldn't make a lot of money going the way. But if you did it quickly by exposing a number of people, finding the interested party, and teach them to do the same, then you have that explosion of volume. So what you want to do is keep in mind that you opened your location, let's call it at home, and you made a purchase, and then you're looking for others. The reason you're looking for others is because others like you who want to find some other people, that's your second store. That's your other location. Finding customers who are not going to participate in that, probably not going to find a lot of those, a handful maybe. But most of the people you're looking for are looking to say, how do I find other locations? We call them other people, but the truth is they're other locations. It's what they are. People like yourself who purchase gold, who then go find some others who register, purchase gold, and find some others. The concept is very simple. And wherein now lies the problem, how do I go find those people? So, Dennis, I'm going to talk to you now that stage is set. That's what we do. I mean, you're the master, honestly. You, Dan, I know you guys, understand this entire concept. And Dennis, you have a lot of contacts, and therefore you reach out to the people that you know. You may have actually exposed them to other things in the past. But the truth is you go and find those people and say, okay, here's what I have. Let me show you. Let's see if you're interested like I am, and let's move forward. But I just want you to jump in here, and you too, Dan, as to how this process begins. Everybody has different language, what to say. Dan, your language is the best there is. So, let's just get involved in that conversation. And I do have the lines muted. If you have any questions, you want to participate here today, raise your hand. I'll see it. Come in, join the conversation, and ask some questions. What do I say when this happens? How do I say it if I see here? Where do I get to talk to people? And that's the point of this. You've got to find more locations, period. That's...
you're exactly correct. And a little aspect I can just add to this is many of us have a limited perception of the things that are going on in other people's lives, because we are not laying in bed with them at night in their thoughts as to all of the other challenges that they have to overcome. You can be on the same street as your neighbor, and you can look really good, but he can be broke at $8,000 a month. And you don't know what he's thinking or she's thinking, especially the one that's doing the online banking for the family. They know what kind of challenges they have to overcome and what might be coming down the road. I think in particular, everything I've learned from you, Joe, from you, Dr. Dennis, is the art of asking questions and embellishing on that. Sifting out and letting somebody else respond to you in some fashion that will let them engage and open up to you. They have to feel comfortable with you to open up with that. And sometimes it's just a hot point where they've been dying to talk about something, and not everybody wants to talk, but there's enough people out there that do want to talk these days. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. You know, and speaking of that, we're coming up on a holiday, and I'm going to caution people to blabbing at your Thanksgiving Day, your holiday, meeting your relatives and so on. Please be careful, and don't go, looking like all you're trying to do is recruit people and show them how much you know about gold, and business and so on. Be careful. Get involved and ask questions. If you want to expose somebody, go get exposed by what they're doing, and you'll grab their attention, and later maybe you can talk to them. I never talk business at my family stuff and all these things. If they ask me what I'm doing, I just tell them, well, I still help people, manage a successful business from home. And what are you still doing this, Frank? Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, what do you mean you help them manage it? Well, it's what I do, but we can talk about that another time. But tell me a little bit about what's going on in your business. I know I have an interest. He wants to know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to sit there in front of 20 people, 10 people, 3 people, and nephews who are, watching football and all this stuff and try to converse with what I'm doing and get them interested. Don't try to get them interested. In fact, stay away from them at these functions and don't feel rejected, as you will guess, believe me. Just go in and find the ones, if you're going to talk to somebody, you want to expose them, ask some questions, ask what they're doing, get on with their life, and then later give them a call. Say, hey, remember we were talking about that? I didn't really want to talk over there, but look, do you want to, let me send you some information. Take a look at this. That's how I would approach that. Just don't get caught up in trying to track all your family down to, at these functions and then feel rejected when everybody's running away from you, trying to find more eggnog.
That's exactly... Go ahead. Can you hear me? Dr. Des.
Yeah, if I could. I was looking for a spot to say something here because you guys are just totally spot on here. There's one other element that hasn't been mentioned yet, and it fits exactly between what you said before, Dan, and what you just said there, Joe, is the art of listening, carefully listening, especially in scenarios that you just painted there, Joe. In the course of conversation, somebody, especially with KB, when you've got something like we've got with KB here, this is everybody. I am aggressively a fan of this industry on a lot of fronts, but my history has been mainly with really upper echelon, can't find it anyplace else, best, great, things for health, and how do you make money with them. So I've got to listen carefully so that when someone says, I wish I didn't have this arthritis or this lupus or this or this that, I don't go, oh boy, do I got something that you want to know how to make money in health. I have to listen when they go, I wish I could pay my rent. I wish the price of gas is killing me. I go, ha-ha. Then I can ask them something about health. And it's a more difficult dance. It's worth doing, in my opinion, but it's a more difficult dance. This, with KB Gold, everybody is subject to the same forces at work, politically, economically, and otherwise, right now. And in the course of that conversation, if you listen to what they're saying, there's only two things they're going to, there's only two parts here. There's, and bear with me on my language on this, there's, as you said before, Dan, I think it was, increase your assets or cover your assets. Increase your assets or cover your assets. And people that'll come up in conversation. And it's easy to say, just like Joe was alluding to right there. Interesting. I so agree with you, I can't even tell you how worried I am about the economy and this and that. It'll come out if you listen carefully and the moment's right. Matter of fact, that's why I've kind of taken a completely different direction than I had last year at this time, because I think it's really important to pay attention and to take action. What is it? Look, we'll get back. I don't want to. Here we are with family and stuff, just like Joe said, and move forward. But acute listening skills. Most people try to develop acute presentation skills. They're important, but acute listening skills are at least as important, because as you get better at it, you can seed the conversation to get the response, and you listen carefully to what they're saying. Does it sound like they want more, or they've got it and want to protect it? Those are the only two mindsets we're talking about here. So anyway, I just want to throw that in.
No, I'm glad you did with the listening, because you're right. I like the way you put that instead of acute presentation skills. Yeah, people think that that's what they have to do is get those skills, and we've been saying it for years. You stop doing that. Just go in and learn how to give them the information, use the tools. But see, people want to keep being able to present it better and study it and learn gold and so on, and it's just not the way to do it.
Correct. I agree, man. I agree. That's not what spins the top. It is engaging with another individual, and that's why I don't believe many people will get a great response by spamming out some kind of email, the perfect email to spam out. I just don't get that. This is a one-to-one relationship business right here, because it affects everybody, and it's built on trust. It really is. Well, in my opinion, anyway. Do you know that? I wanted to just throw this in here right now. I've been in the side of consumer debt front lines for going on 3 decades. I wanted to let you know, first time ever, Tier 1 top grade A paper companies like Ford Motor Credit, etc., or Chase, they are repossessing cars as early as 15 days past due. If they call you for a payment and you don't have a solid answer or can pay, they're putting you, the term in the industry is putting you to sleep, letting you know everything's okay, well, pay when you can, blah, blah, blah. And they're sending the repo man out for your car. That's not a joke. I'm telling you, I've never seen it like it before. You could have a very good FICO score, and then they're not waiting. They'll make a call, and you don't respond, or you don't give them the right answer. They'll tell you, take care of it when you can, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, there's a guy coming to yank your car. And I just want to let you know, we've never seen this before in the industry, and you have to understand the significance of where we are with the devaluation of our paper currency. It's the reason people are out there on Occupy Wall Street. It was the reason the Tea Party. It has nothing to do with whether the rich get richer or the poor get poorer. Separation of classes has everything to do with the value of our paper money. All of those other organizations are merely the symptoms, not the problems. They're merely the symptoms of what's wrong with our fiat paper money. And that will come to a head sometime soon. You are empowered right now, having a KB account. If you exercise your right to fund it, you empower yourself as a hedge against that. And I think that's the main point, if I can drive anything home, is empower yourself here. And at the dinner table, exactly, Dr. Jennison, Joe, they don't need a sermon on what you're doing.
Yeah, really?
You just got to listen to what's going on with their lives. So
we have to listen to the sermons. That's what we got to do. Go see who has the best sermon while you're there. Go take some notes. Anybody have any questions, comments, or whatever? 5-star on your telephone keypad. We're going to close this down early today. Early meaning, what does that mean, early? Early because it's before noon. There you go. But yeah, 5-star telephone keypad. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star.
So let me do this. While people are going to punch in questions here. Let's just I want to take this another level with what was just been said, because it's very important. I said acute listening skills, not cute listening skills are good. Acute. We're going to refine them. Just instead, we're talking about acute presenting skills. That's one. What language to use, what to say, what not to say, Don't vomit on them. Use tools, direct traffic. Fine, great, it's necessary. But what I mean by acute listening skills is kind of what goes right where Dan was going right there. And the Thanksgiving table is a perfect example, but it is just that. It's just an example of every single day. And I would take it to this.
Losing you, Dennis. I don't know if it's you or me, but I was losing you there. I don't know if it's my... You okay, Dan?
Yes.
I wasn't breaking up?
No.
Maybe it was me. All right.
Okay, here's the thing. So now you're listening. You're not preaching. You're not vomiting on people. You're not pounding on the table to let them know about the devaluation of currency. You're listening. Once again, I would encourage you to do this. Listen for two classes of people. Which class do they fit into? And the same thing's true, like I said, with nutrition, with the same thing here. In nutrition, it's people who want to have problems with their health, looking for answers, and there's people who have problems with their finances and are looking for answers, and there's the overlap of those two. Same thing is true here. People who want to increase their assets, people who want to protect their assets. Okay? So, and that acute listening skill, if you tune it in, when someone's saying, I don't know, I've saved all this, my IRA, my this, my that, whatever, just make sure when you go, you very clearly hear what it is that is concerning them. Just like Boomer said before, you can't tell by looking at what someone looks like. They could be broke at $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month in income. They could have lost $2 million and have $5 million left in 401ks in the stock market, etc. But they're concerned. They could be saying, man, if I could just find a way to just get some income coming in here because I just got laid off or because of this or because of that. Those are all different people. So make sure you move from the acute listening skill to the acute presentation skill so that you listen carefully to what it is that's on their mind, that's in their heart, that's in their what their life is about, what they're looking for, and just adjust your presentation accordingly. Serve them. So now here's an example of why I say that. Now, I want to use these words, and Joe, you've heard me say them before. I'm going to advise you not to recruit anybody as a distributor in your KB organization. I'm going to advise you not to recruit anybody. I'm going to advise you to do I'm going to advise you to do just what we're talking about here. Listen carefully. Look for people who are looking. So you're listening carefully. That's prospecting. Then you are interviewing the person who sounds like they want to acquire. So you're prospecting, you are interviewing, and then you sponsor that person, and then you support that person, as Joe Norman says so well every time. Walk them through the process so they know what to do. Don't recruit. Don't talk anybody into the acquiring side of the KB business. Look for those people. When you hear someone sound like Dan Girolamo, listen carefully, direct traffic appropriately, get him set up in your business, sponsor him, support him, and he's going to make you a fortune. But if it's Uncle Jack who's saying, man, I saved all this money and this and that, blah, 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 bring him to the product side. Show him how to protect his assets. You can then, if you choose to, show him how he can also acquire. If you go and try to talk people in to the acquiring side, you're just going to create work for yourself. You're going to set up people to fail, which is never fun, and you're going to create work for yourself. I like to be the hardest working lazy person in the world. And the way to do it is listen carefully, serve those people, and then work with the small team of people that becomes a large team of people because you found the right people. And then they'll take on all the work. And you don't have to do anything, which I always like in my life. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, Joe. So I think this whole call went in a beautiful direction that way. Plus, obviously, hey, we got these corporates coming starting this weekend, and we'll be here, so these are major events. So take all the people you listen to who said they want to acquire, take all the people who you listen to and said they wanted to protect or cover their assets, and send them to the same event for the reason that serves them. Don't talk to the cover my assets person about acquiring. You can talk about the acquiring to the acquire. I want to acquire person about why people want to protect. Once you're talking about when someone raises their hand in the conversation and says, you know what, I really need to, want to, and I'm willing to do anything to get more in my life, you can go anywhere with them. But when someone is about protecting their assets, you really want to be careful. You want to service them. But get them to these meetings one way or another, because they're going to deal with both agendas at these meetings. And
let me go to a question here, Dennis. We have a question from area code 917, ending in 76. Here's the format before I unlock your call. Identify yourself. A first name is fine, and then address your question. But area code is 917. The phone number ends in 76. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Who joined us?
Hello, guys. My name is Florence. I'm calling from Asia.
Hello, Florence. Welcome.
Thank you. My first question is, when we introduce KB Gold to our potential clients, because KB is a company that they have not heard about in Asia, and they're really interested in starting an account, but they're questioning the more or less they're questioning whether or not this is a scam. So how are we supposed to address this kind of situation? I'd like to hear from your experience. Thanks.
Dan, I'm going to address that with you. I can address that. I'm sure Dennis can too. But let's go with that because people look. Let me just say this before you do it. We have and Florence, thank you for that question. We will address that.
Okay.
We get this in every company I have ever been with. There are two reasons for that. People are skeptical about people working from home. Call it network marketing, multi-level marketing. Most people do not understand the concept. Not most people, but a lot of people. There's been that stigma of, this is some kind of pyramid kind of thing, and number two is, yes, is this really true with gold? Oh my gosh! You know what? We are way out of the paradigm this is a paradigm shift. What? Pay for or buy or accumulate money by buying a card with a increment of gold on it. Think about that for a minute. Of course they're going to be skeptical. Dan handles this very well. You're skeptical but interested, but skeptical kind of things. That's why I wanted you to handle it, Dan, because everybody goes down this route. But your own family doesn't even believe it's real and true. And look, here's the thing. Here's the entire thing. People, in order to learn about something, obviously you have to be educated. Decisions are only as good as the facts that they're based upon. People need facts to make decisions about whether this is real or not real. So, Dan, over to you.
That's exactly right. You have to direct them their question, validate their question.
Okay.
And then point them to the source where they can see the information and it's not coming from you. Would you agree, Dennis? Anyway,
I muted my
here's
line.
He's unmuted now. He mutes his line. Yeah,
I muted my
real quick. Yes, you have to point it to somebody else, a third party, not you. You have to get them to the piece.
Yeah, it's critical. What you're saying there, and the beauty of this is, in Florence, if you go and you look at the KB-Vision website, and you go to look at mykbgold.us, there are places that once you know where to direct people, you'll see the Bundesbader, the world class credentialing, sort of like Better Business Bureau. that has not only certified it, but recommends KB Gold. There are places to send them to see the Price Waterhouse stamp of independent auditing. So many places to send people that you can send them on mykbgold.us. Go to the other tab where they can look at the mines, they can look at the refineries. This is very easy to credential. They can actually go into the websites and see the certifications from the Swiss government. Now they can go in and see the certifications on mykbgold.us about now KB
LBMA.
LBMA.
Yeah. Right. It's right on the very. If you guys haven't noticed it, it's right on the. For everybody out there. Go to kb-vision.com. Your personal KB account site. That's your replicated corporate site right there on the lower right-hand corner. It says LBMA. If right there, that designation, let me tell you what, you can't just get on that. That's not something that you're just allowed to be on. That is a very distinct designation for only top-tier legitimate companies. Period.
Hey, Florence, Florence, let me give you some dialogue on almost exactly what I would say to a person, and this is critical. We can tell people to go places, but here's how you address it when someone says,
yes, please.
Yeah, but, yeah, it's this, and how do you know, and all that stuff. You say, you'll always agree with them. Say, sure, I understand where you're coming from. Sure, I understand. I have actually been there. We can go through that feel, found stuff, but the truth is, you agree immediately. Oh, sure, that's no problem, Mary. Assure them that you have the answer, whether the answer is coming out of your mouth or a direction on where they can go see it, like Dan and Dennis just said. You always have to say, oh, sure, that's no problem, Mike. Let me show you where we get that information. And don't try to explain it. Don't try to be the person who is validating the whole thing. Tell them, sure, I understand. As a matter of fact, I felt that way because it is certainly out of our paradigm. So let me show you where we can find this information. That's about all you have to say. And then guide them to what Dan just said. Take them to your site. Take them to the LBMA. Take them to the areas where they're going to see the refineries and so on and so forth. At that point, you can't do anything else. There's no convincing to do after that. If they don't believe it at that point, move on. I mean, that's the bottom line. But
that's
always
correct.
Have to agree. You got to agree, right? People don't get this for a long time in this business, Florence. But if anybody learns anything today, it is always. Don't agree that it's not real, but you agree that they have a problem with it. Sure, I understand. Sure, no problem, Mary. Let them know that you're going to get them. Any negative movement towards, well, let me see. As soon as you start on that, they feed off of that. So you're going to let them feed off the positive. Oh, sure, that's no problem, Mary. Let me show you exactly where to get this information so we can actually, because decisions are only as good as the facts. So let me get you some facts here, and you can decide for yourself. You see, that's what you have to do. And people, if they just learn to agree right up front that the person has some skepticism and some concerns, sure, not a problem. Let me handle that for you. That's where you go, Florence. That's the best advice I can give you today.
In Florence, here's another tip.
Okay.
If you make a statement of fact before they come back with a question or a challenging response, it is an entirely different mindset. If you come from a position of giving them their brain that information ahead of time, as opposed to coming back and making a statement in defense, it is a completely different mindset. So if you know that the person you're talking to, let's say you know them and you know they're already a skeptic anyway,
yes,
you may want to engage the conversation. By the way, I found an incredibly verifiable gold source in the world and nobody knows about it. and walk them through and if you have to, however you're going to engage that conversation, whether it's as a customer or it's as a business builder, affiliate, engage them into that section of their validation first as opposed to anything else. If you already know that that's the way the person is. Because, as I said, if you make it as a statement of fact first and not as a rebuttal of in response as defense, it is an entirely different mindset that the brain goes into.
How's that help you, Florence?
That's very useful.
Just got a 40-minute lecture from 3 people who hope they're right.
Very serious people. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
Florence.
You're welcome.
Do you know Bob Curry?
It's gone. Okay,
never mind.
Florence from Asia. Okay, we are going to say goodbye to everyone at this point. Dan, for Dan and Dr. Denis, this is Joe Shoop. You have a wonderful day today, everybody, and take some notes when you're done here and utilize the information. And Dan, any announcements about today, tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the Al Fears webcast at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, once a week. I'm not sure. I don't think Jimmy Larson webinar is on today. You'll have to double check on that. I haven't re-verified. I am preparing to leave myself, so thanks for bearing with me and giving me some grace.
Have a fun day, everybody. Dr. D, we'll talk later, and have a great day, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.